Hello there all. So today I am going to be going over material for Thursday, April 16th. And today we are going to just begin talking about the research positions paper. And we'll be taking a sneak peek at the final assignment of the semester, which is kind of amazing how quickly time has flown by. And please keep in mind the mapping paper. The final draft is due on Thursday by midnight. So I will show you all real quickly on our lovely Blackboard page. I will show you all how to submit the mapping essay. So first is you open Blackboard just like normal for Comp 2. And then you go on the left side of the page and click on the Drop Boxes tab. And then you will scroll down and go into the mapping. Oh, I forgot to turn on Student Preview. Hold on one moment. Okay, so what you do is go into Dropboxes and go into the mapping essay Dropbox. And then you upload your submission. So that is something that you should be doing as well. The due date, like I said, is on Thursday by midnight. And please keep in mind the mapping essay is worth 15%. Okay, so that's one thing that I wanted to talk about that is kind of off my to-do list now. So I just want to give like a brief preview. I'm not going to go super in depth today, but one thing that you should be working on over the weekend is beginning to start the invention, or at least starting an outline for the research positions paper, because you know, this is our timeline here. It's not very much. It's about 2.5 weeks left of class, if that. So, you know, it's important to finish the semester strongly. So anyways, I'm not going to go super in depth today, but, you know, I'll do some kind of administrative or kind of logistics. I'll show you all where the research position paper guidelines are and where the rubric is and that kind of thing. But I'm not going to go over those super in depth today. I'm just going to give a sort of brief preview of the mapping paper, and then next week is when I will be going more in depth into the research positions paper, and I probably will talk about the sample and stuff next week. So if you're wondering when I'm going to be talking about that, I will be talking about that next Tuesday. So today for Thursday is really just going over kind of things briefly and kind of getting like a sneak peek, like I said. Okay, so what you do is go back into our Blackboard page. And if you want to find materials for the research positions paper, all you do is go under assignment information and go under the final position paper, final research position paper. Click on that. And this is where the guidelines are. So one thing I would also recommend doing this weekend is looking over the guidelines. Like I said, I'm not going to go in depth on these today. I'm just kind of showing you where they are. And I will be talking more further in depth about the guidelines next Tuesday. And then the final positions paper is due on Tuesday, May 5th at midnight on Blackboard. And it's also the same time that resubmissions for other papers will be due at that same time. And I'll show you all the rubric, what I'll be using to guide my feedback and also grading for the final paper. all familiar stuff. It's a similar layout. And I will also be, something that will be different in this particular final paper is that there will be a rebuttal, but I will talk about that. I think I made that for next Thursday, actually, that I'll be talking about that. But just giving you like a brief preview or overview is basically my goal today. So I'm trying to keep today's video hopefully to a half an hour or so, nothing too much longer, if that. But anyways, going back to the Blackboard page, this is where our research position paper sample is. So I did highlight the thesis statement and also the topic sentences, but I will be talking more about this sample next week. But it's not a bad idea to start looking at it. And one thing I will be talking about again is the rebuttal. I'll be talking about that next Thursday. So the final positions paper is 5 to 7 pages long, double spaced, Times New Roman, 12 size points font, and 1-inch margins with a works cited page. Okay, so for today's materials for Thursday, for Thursday 4/16, I will be going over a PowerPoint. So the PowerPoint I'll be going over today is under Lessons, and it is the research position paper preview, and that's what I'll be going over today. Okay, so the final essay is the research positions paper. So you will want to submit your mapping essay for 4/16. For online submission by 11:59 p.m. on 4/16, which is Thursday. Don't forget to include your reflection letter and also follow the directions for peer review, which I talked about in my previous video. Okay, so the research positions paper. Here is our rhetorical situation. So by now you have analyzed an argument's ethos, logos, and pathos appeals. You have taken stock of what you already knew about your topic and sketched some preliminary research questions in your issue proposal. You have investigated what others say in your annotated bibliography. And you have begun to map the various positions on your topic in your mapping essay. Now it is time for you to have your say as the author and the writer. For this paper, you will practice joining and advancing a pre-existing conversation. You will generate your own position and support that position with reasons, logos, establish credibility by synthesizing those sources responsibly and effectively, and in a way that fully supports your reasons, ethos, and appeal to the emotions and values of the audience you choose to address, pathos. So, in a nutshell, the research positions paper, this is sort of our preview. You're going to want a claim, and you're going to want to inspire an action and also address your audience. So there should be 3 total reasons and a rebuttal present within the final research paper. Reason 1 is why your claim is valid, and then you prove it, and why your claim is valid, and then you prove it also to your audience. And then you finally have a rebuttal. So, a thesis is the result of a lengthy thinking process. Formulating a thesis is not the first thing you do after reading an essay assignment. Before you develop an argument on any topic, you have to collect and organize evidence, look for possible relationships between known facts, such as surprising contrasts or similarities, and think about the significance of these relationships. Once you do this thinking, you will probably have a working thesis, a basic or main idea, an argument that you think you can support with evidence, but that may need adjustment along the way. So here's just an example. So the example thesis here is college professors in Texas need to take responsibility for their own academic space and safety by staging a unified statewide walkout in protest of the new campus carry law. So first, we will need to think about what you want to do. How will you solve this problem? And who will be my opponent? Will this be a person, organization, or a group of people? Who is your audience? What will they be asked to do? What will it take to fix my problem? What will I want to be persuading these people to do? Should they be called to action or asked to believe something? So here is the sample thesis. College campuses are often battlegrounds and controversies that pit individual rights with federal amendments intended to protect those rights. New laws that permit guns on campus have challenged the safety of academic spaces recently, and so college professors in Texas need to take responsibility for their own students by staging a unified statewide walkout in protest of the new campus carry law. The administration will take notice and finally address the concerns of faculty members who are demanding a safe and open academic environment. Okay, so here's the sort of checklist. Have I taken a position that others might challenge or oppose? If your thesis statement simply states facts that no one would or even could disagree with, it's possible you are simply providing a summary rather than making an argument. Have I indicated a doer and a deed? Thesis statements must contain a claim. Is my thesis statement specific enough? Thesis statements often do not have a strong argument. If your thesis contains words like good or successful, see if you could be more specific. Why is something good? What specifically makes something successful? A benefit, a reform, what does that mean? Does my thesis pass the so what test? If a reader's response is so what, then you need to clarify, to forge a relationship, or to connect to a larger issue. Does my thesis pass the how test? So, then from there you want to attach reasons. Claims are supported by a reason, that is to say proof or evidence to believe that the claim is true. Without a reason to believe the claim is true, you don't technically have a claim, in the argumentative sense, only an article of faith. Pick out your claim only and set up a position. College professors should stage a walkout because, and reason should work effectively on all 3 points of the rhetorical triangle. So one way you can attach reasons or pathos. So the values of college professors is maintaining safety, knowledge, student success. So we will need to make sure that the reasons we attach appeal to the values of the audience. We will need to make sure our audience will care about what we are saying and make a list of values for your audience. And then attaching reasons or logos. They sort of expand upon the example here and go, the presence of guns on campus contributes to more violence on campus, and violence should be protested. We need to make sure the reasons we are creating are logical, reasonable, and without exception. you will have to create an Nth meme. So, attaching reasons. The presence of guns on campus contributes to more violence on campus, and violence should be protested because why? And then backing is needed here. Guns are not like movies. Guns create powerful differentials and directly threaten the safety of individuals who do not choose to participate in even socially accepted forms of violence. In this way, the presence of guns removes the choice to be in a safe place, especially when it is a place of learning. So, after going through this PowerPoint, we'll be talking more about the rebuttal next week. We'll talk more about the final paper next week. But things that you should be doing this weekend is I encourage you to start looking at the guidelines and perhaps start invention. And the sample research paper has also been added to Blackboard under assignment information and the final research positions paper. Excuse me. Also, the guidelines and rubric have also been added. So that is pretty much it. That's what you should be working on this weekend. And make sure to finish up your mapping paper and also work on resubmissions if you are working on those. Start getting together your working portfolio. You definitely should not be bored. There's still plenty to do and complete. So I will see you all next week. Thank you. Please stay safe, stay healthy, and have a good day.